All right, you guys can hear me? All right. So how you doing, everybody? Make sure you guys can hear me good, right? Okay. All right. So I want to thank every single one of you guys for being on here. Um, I know some of you guys might be mad the game is on right now, so maybe some of you would want to check out and listen to the Spurs and Warriors game. So I won't keep you too long tonight. But what I want to do this call real quick is just make sure that I can answer any of you questions, any questions that you guys have, any deals that you might be working on. I can help kind of go over and analyze and just guide you. Shout out to the people that are online. Kevin, which is a student of mine, he's on here. Pete, I know Pete's on here as well. Got a lot of other people on here as well too. Real quick, I just want to do a survey. Uh, how many of you that are online right now have yet closed your first deal? All right. How many of you, if you haven't closed your first deal, just put in there no in the chat box real quick. Okay. All right. Perfect. Okay. Okay. All right. So we got a few people that said no, no problem. Okay. So what I want to do, is again, I want to provide as much value as I can for you. I know some people that we have there are brand new online. Hopefully, maybe you just got started with our program. Hopefully you've gone through the video trainings, the modules. But I want to really take this time out to really answer your questions and kind of give you some more guidance, some more strategies, and give you some more steps on what it is that you need to be doing on a constant basis so that way you can get closer to closing a deal. Okay? So what I want you to do, for those of you in the chat box, go ahead and put in what is your single what is like the number one single most problem that you feel like you're having that is keeping you from closing deals? What do you think that problem is? Like the single most important, like you just like this thing I'm just really struggling with right now, and I feel like it's holding me back. All right, just go ahead, type that in the chat box, and I'm gonna go ahead and answer it and give you either a solution that you can do and you can start to put it into place and use or implement. So for some of you, it might be that you just brand new, getting started, and it's just taking a little bit of time for you to go through the grind and really put in the work. All right. So let's go ahead and hear it. All right. Okay. Okay. So we got for one person so far. All right. Perfect. This is great. This is great. Okay. All right. So I'm not going to call you out by the name because I don't want to put anybody on blast. All right. But someone said, I'm having trouble finding good deals. All right. Perfect. Perfect. All right. So this is a struggle really that a lot of people end up going through, including myself. All right, and even at this point, I still have the struggle that I just can't find enough. I find good deals, but I can't find enough. I want to find 100 deals a month if I could, but it's just the way the market is right now. It is becoming a little bit more challenging finding deals. So let me ask you real quick. What market are you in? Okay, what market are you in? I want to know. Let me know what market you're in. And this is specifically for the person that said they're having trouble finding good deals. All right, so that way I can. Okay, all right. So South Carolina, perfect. Okay, all right. So there's a few ways to go out and find deals. So number one, you have the strategy where you can actually go out and you can go door knocking. All right, you can go and knock on people's doors. Now, there's something that I necessarily wouldn't do myself. I've never done it, but I've heard of a lot of investors that have done this when there wasn't such thing as the internet and stuff like that. That's what they do, And I know people that still do this today, and they get deals. All right, now again, this is not something that I would suggest that you do, but it's a way to do. All right, so another strategy you can use to find deals. And what I mean by that is actually say you are not knocking on houses that are vacant, obviously, but maybe knocking on some of the neighbors' doors of the houses that are vacant. Okay? Another strategy, driving around finding vacant properties. Okay. What happens a lot of times is that, yes, you can buy these lists and we have lists for sale, but sometimes those people that own those vacant properties, they have not updated their tax information. Okay, so maybe they just left the house vacant because they know they're going to get foreclosed on. All right, or for whatever reason, their taxes are behind. They end up moving with someone else and somewhere a total different area, right? So the taxes are still, and the mail is still coming to that property, and they haven't yet really updated it that they have a new address. So most people that are mailing to these people, they end up getting the mail returned back to them because they have not added a forwarding address, or a new address, where the taxes should be getting sent to. All right, so those end up being very good leads that can turn into deals because most people that are sending mail to them, they can't contact them. All right, so here's what you can do. So this is a strategy where, yes, you can mail to them in hopes of maybe getting the mail forward over to them, or you could also knock on the door, neighbors' doors, and find out because a lot of times in neighborhoods, people will end up maybe have some more information on the neighbor's house. Another thing you can do, let me see if I can find a website. Let's see. Hold on. Gotta look it up. All right, let's see. Okay, my assistant is messaging me right now, but where is something that I just oh man, I think I don't really have this in here. Oh man, I gotta try to find it. Okay. I thought I would be able to get to it, but I can't. I'll have to look it up. But there's a website. I know. I thought I bookmarked it, but I guess I must have not bookmarked it. Because I can't think of it off top. All right, give me a minute. I'm gonna find it. I think it's. I want to say it's. Let me see if I can find it real quick in my other folder. Because there's basically a website that you can basically use list, and you can actually find the phone number. So until I find it, when I find it, I'll go back around to this question and get to it. But you could use a website to try to skip trace a phone number. Okay, so you could get the information of that vacant property, run it up against a skip tracing site. And there's sites, there's like MicroBuilt, which is what we use. There's TLO, which is actually even better service. You have FindASeller.com. There's a whole bunch of different websites you can actually try to locate a phone number for them, right? And so you can go out, find a phone number, and just call them. Okay, just cold call them. All right, that's one strategy. Another strategy you could do is go out and put up bandit signs. All right, and now you're gonna have to do about 50 of them, or 50 to 100 of them a week, really, to see the results. But it works. Another thing you can actually do is do direct mail campaigns and mail not just to absentee owners, but mail to people that have vacant properties, people that are behind in their taxes, people that have inherited properties, people that have a lot of code violations on their properties. Okay, so there's many ways to skin a cat. But the thing is that you just have to consistently be doing things. Yes, you can put up ads on Craigslist, of course, as well. You can have house hunters sending you properties, but at the end of the day, you just have to stay consistent with it, all right? And that's how you're going to end up finding good deals. Now, this is going to really wing into my next person's question, which I want to talk about. A lot of times what you'll see and what you're going to come across is that a lot of deals that's going to come your way, and not deals, just say leads that are going to come into your inbox, they're not necessarily going to be great deals off top. Okay, so here's my side of my dashboard of Freedom Soft that I'm using. You see we have a lot of follow-ups and stuff in place. A lot of times, guys, that things that come into our system are not always end up being deals. And so what happens is that it really takes understanding how to really get into the mind and find out what that other person is really wanting out of, as a solution to the property. So I'll give you an example. All right. So for instance, this property here that we're working on right now. All right. This property came in from our direct mail campaign, and the lady had inherited the property. Okay, she inherited from I think it was her best friend that ended up passing her. And so she and her husband lives in Fort Lauderdale. Okay, and she she hasn't seen the property in about 4 years. Okay, now this lead came in. My assistant lead manager, she went ahead, took the call, got all the information, took and I went and took a look at the property, saw how much work it needed, and this was a seller that was pretty adamant on their price. Now, when she told me what she wanted, granted, I could have said, you know what, this is not a good deal, and moved on. And when I was early on in my career as a real estate investor, that's what I used to do all the time. I would try to like offer a price with a seller come back and be like, no, that's too low. You know, I want this, and then I would give up. Right? So some of you might be guilty of doing that. Okay. Now it's not your fault. It's not your fault because again, I used to do the same exact thing. All right. But what happens to end up getting to the next level, end up taking a deal like this that is not necessarily a deal based off of the numbers, but understanding that this seller has needs, they have wants, and if I can exchange and explain more of how they'll get there, what they want in a different form with selling it to me, why they'll benefit a lot further than them going away. So I'll give you an example. So with this deal, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, on this property, I think she wanted like 55,000 or something like that, right? All right. So I know I can sell it for 55,000. Okay. If I list it on MLS, wholesale it, I'll probably get around 55, maybe a little bit more for it. All right. All right, 58, 60 possibly. So for me, 55 is too high to pay for it, right? So what I did, and we're still in negotiations right now, but I think we're going to be getting this contract signed this week, is I explained to her, based off the things that are needed to be repaired in the property. All right. I asked her first, have you been to the property lately? Oh, no, I haven't been there in about 4 years. Okay. So are you aware of the roof needing to be replaced? Are you aware of the whole kitchen that needs to be replaced? Are you aware of the bathrooms that need to be replaced? It's not that they are in bad condition, but they're very outdated. Are you in a position to actually come back to this property and hire a crew and do the renovations in order to get the property up to code for you to be able to get the price that you're looking to get? So see, I started explaining to the seller what it will take for them to get what they want, to get that price. Because see, what happens is a lot of sellers, what they'll do is that they'll go and they'll look on Zillow. And they'll say, oh, this person down the street got $80,000 for the house. That's what I want. My house is worth 80 grand. Not going and seeing how much work was put into their house, not going to see if that house was actually a financed transaction, meaning someone took a loan out from the bank to get that price, to pay that price. They don't know that. They just see numbers. Okay? And so what happens is a lot of leads that you're going to come in that you think that aren't good deals can be turned into good deals if you sit and take the time to educate them. Okay? So what is educating them? It's explaining to them what they have to go through to get that. Okay? So here's the thing. Hey, I understand you want $55,000. This is a good property. I probably wouldn't even really want to sell this if I was you. So I understand. I don't even know why you would want to sell it. oh, I want to sell it because, we live in Fort Lauderdale. We don't want to come back to Tampa. We haven't been there in a while. And, we could just use, the cash to do something else. All right, I understand. So then I start explaining to them the things that need to be repaired. And then I ask them, are they in a position to come back here, hire crews, have to be able to manage the rehabs, and get these things renovated? On top of having the capital to renovate the property, her husband agreed they don't have the money or the time. I said, okay. I said, because in order to get what you're asking, based off the numbers of the properties that are selling in the area, you're looking at people that are paying, they're paying retail. And so those are people that are getting loans from banks. So not only are you going to have to fix up the property and take that time and put that money into the property to get it up and ready for a retail buyer to come in, you're also going to have to wait a couple of months for someone to actually even get approved by the bank to get a loan to finally buy that property. On top of it, you're also going to have to pay closing costs. You're going to have to pay a realtor 6% commission. So when you factor in all those numbers, how much are you really walking away from this property? How much are you really walking away from this deal? And then they got to thinking, oh, you know what, man, I didn't even think about all those things. And so that's what you got to understand, guys. It takes just a little bit of time, educating the seller on all of the things that they're going to have to go through, the hoops they're going to have to jump through to get to the price that they want. And if they can agree that they're not in a position to go through those hoops, well, hey, that's why I'm here. You can just sell to me. I buy as is. I can close quickly. I'm cash. So when we sign this agreement today, it's done. You don't have to worry about no closing costs, no commissions, no fixing up the property, no waiting months to get your check. This cash, we take care of this. Once we sign this deal right now, you can finally put this behind you and we can move on. All right, so just remember that, guys, when you're talking with sellers, okay? That's how you turn leads that are not so good leads into deals. All right, so that kind of answers your question. I know someone put in here talking to sellers. All right. Okay, so Pete, you said you have a possible deal. It's commercial lots. Okay. So it's zoned for residential, but they are commercial. All right, so this is the thing. When you have properties that are on commercial lots, you really, I think is that you have a property that you're going to have to do a deeper analyzation on the property than you would just a regular single family home, okay? So what I would do, because you can still get comps and stuff from MLS, you're going to have to really get a trusted realtor that you can work with, or either someone that is a lot more knowledgeable on the commercial side of things, because it does have those commercial lots. I know it's on residential on the website, but since it's on those commercial lots, I would tell you that that's the thing, because what happens is depending on what is zoned for commercial wise, is going to determine, what would be attractive for a buyer coming in place, because obviously I know you're going to wholesale this. So I would get with someone that may have some more experience. Maybe you can put it in a Facebook group if some people have experience in commercial, or just getting with a realtor to kind of help you out with the analyzation of that property. All right, so direct weekly action. Okay, so that's okay. So what I would tell you with this, with the direct weekly action, I would tell you to set some deep action goals for yourself every Sunday. All right, so at the Sunday, when you come in the Sunday, the top of the week, you're relaxing, I want you to go out and write down and set out some goals. So what I have a calendar of stuff that is in here, and as you can see in my freedom stuff, I had tasks and stuff of things that need to get done. Lucky for me, I have a team. But before, what I would do when it was really just me, I was one band man, I used to have different apps that I would download on my phone or have on my computer to remind me. And every Sunday I would set those tasks that these things have to be done. So whether it's marketing, whether it's making an offer, whether it's following up, whether it's driving for dollars, whatever, okay? It's just about being consistent with it. So what I would tell you to do, there is a site, well, there's an app too, that's called Wunderlist, like WUNDER list, LIST. All right. So I want you to like get that app, or there's other apps as well, and to start to really map out what those daily actions need to be. Okay. So again, I just mentioned a few different things that you could be doing, but I need you to go in and create an app and just hold yourself accountable. Okay. Or better yet, get somebody else to hold you accountable. All right. The best thing to do is have some type of accountability partner, whether it's your partner, a friend, a relative, and share those daily actions with that person. And if you don't do it, then you have to do something. Maybe you have to publicly put on your Facebook wall. There's some people be like, oh, I'll put money up. All right, so if I don't do this, then I'll just give you money. If it's only a few dollars, it's not really a big loss. You won't care about losing a couple dollars because you didn't do something. But if you have an accountability partner where you're saying, hey, if I don't do this, I'm going to publicly embarrass myself on my Facebook wall to my friends and say, hey, I was supposed to go out, put out banner signs weekend, but I didn't. All right? That's going to make you look bad. And no one wants to look bad in front of their friends or to the world. All right? So maybe that might work for you. All right? Or if you're just self-motivated and everything, again, you're just about having a set schedule of actions that need to be done every single day, and those remind you throughout the week, to keep yourself accountable. All right. Let's go to the next one. All right. Yes, if you see homes that are for sale by owner, for sure, definitely call them. All right. Now, some of those people that have the for sale by owners, some of them are going to want, the highest price. All right. So what you want to do, the thing is, when you're talking with anybody, whether it's for sale by owners, that the signs you see, some of them don't necessarily have to be for sale. Okay. We market to a lot of people that their houses are not for sale, but they happen to get our marketing piece, or we're cold calling a few people as well. Well, we're cold calling a lot of people, actually, not a few. And they aren't necessarily have a house for sale. But at the end of the day, if they are, and they do let you know that they are in the market to sell, or they would like to sell, or they are, selling their property right now, the key is to find out what is their reason for selling. Okay, is it to get, a bigger house, or is it to downsize? Is it, they want to take that money and retire? Maybe they just inherited a property and they want to sell it because they don't want to deal with it. Maybe they're tired of being a landlord. Maybe they're getting ready to get foreclosed on. Maybe they're behind on taxes, whatever. See there's a reasoning why they're, looking to sell or needing to sell, okay? If there's a deep reasoning why they need the cash, they need to sell, okay, then there's a good chance that you can turn that lead into a deal. All right, so just don't forget about that. Okay. Oh man, that's tough, but that's all right. You can go through it. Okay, so someone said, my partner quit and I am unsure how to go forward. Since we were strong in different areas of the business, we haven't done a deal yet. Okay. You know what? Just be thankful that, they quit early on. Okay, because the worst thing to do is get your business going up and running and have systems in place, and they're responsible for a lot of stuff, and then they quit on you. I know it feels bad now, but if everything was going and you were already making money and they quit, and then it just shoots your income down, that's even worse. All right, so it's fine. Be happy that God told you that person wasn't supposed to be with you, because they're not ready. They're not persistent, and they're no longer interested in moving forward. That's fine. So there's a few different things you can do. Of course, you can find another partner. Now, finding somebody that you can trust that easy, I don't know. Okay. But what you can do is learn the things that you weren't strong in and then hire out somebody else to do. All right. So the thing about wholesaling is that it's really not that hard. Okay. Sometimes some people might be more challenging in actually doing like technical stuff with like marketing and mailing, but hey, you can hire somebody to do that stuff. Okay. With websites like Click to Mail and things like that, you can outsource that. All right. And pay somebody real cheap to do that. You can hire virtual assistants for $4 or $5 an hour, and only give them 40, $50 a week and have them do some of that stuff. Or if you're not good at talking with sellers, you can learn how to articulate and teach someone else how to do that and have them do that. And they can work for you. That's an acquisition manager. And you pay them 20%. All right. So, don't give up. That's good that you're on this call. Obviously, you're not giving up. Um, just look at the things that you weren't good at and figure out how you can either, if you want to, get better at them, or just how you can bring someone else in to delegate those. And that can really just be from, like getting an assistant. And maybe even if you're not in a position to get an assistant right now, just rough it out. Maybe work on some joint venture deals possibly to get some capital up, and partner up with other wholesalers just to get some cash in real quick. And then you can go ahead and hire people and stuff like that and put the people in place that are, better in those other areas of the business. Okay. So just start thinking like a business owner. Okay. Just start to think like, okay, how can I go out and put things in place and get some money in so I can go ahead and start hiring this part of the business that I'm really not that good at. All right. Because I remember when I started, I was pretty decent with marketing. But I really wasn't really good at sales. So I wasn't really like very good at like talking with sellers. I was very nervous. But I went through it. I did it over and over again until I got more comfortable. And I did a few deals. And then eventually, I ended up just really getting better at it. At this point now, I don't have to do it myself. But I just, I trained myself. I got better. I was very, it was a weak area of my business for me, but I just got better. All right. Let's see. Okay, good question. How much do you ask for a deposit from a buyer on your wholesale deals? So in my market, typically I ask for a $2,000 non-refundable deposit. I know like in California, there's some people that may ask for 5%. 3%, 1%. A lot of people usually do 1%. 1% of whatever the asking price is. That's typically what most people ask for. But generally, $2,000 not refundable. I've done the max $5,000. So if you're at $2,000 deposit, that's pretty solid. If they walk away from the deal, you can pocket that $2,000 yourself, or $5,000 if it's like one of those 300,000 plus houses that you have under contract. I would probably put a little bigger deposit up, but $2,000 to $5,000 is good. Good question. Oh, this is a great question right here. Okay, should you complete a few deals before hiring a VA? That's a great question. So my thing is that I used to say you should, but it really depends on how good of a person you are at delegating stuff and really giving someone the necessary tools to be good at what they're doing. So for instance, if I was new starting off and I really didn't know how to run comps, okay, but I hire a virtual assistant and I kind of halfway teach them how to run comps. Well, the person that I hire is only going to be as good as the resources and things that I give them to be great. So if I really don't know what I'm doing, I can't expect a virtual assistant going to come in and just make my business flourish, But if it's a situation where you're like, all right, you know what, I just need them to screen calls. I just need someone to kind of, just so I don't have to do that stuff because I just don't have the time to do it, or whatever. Or I need them going and putting Craigslist ads and stuff because I don't have the time and my time is worth more than that. Then yeah, you can do that. You can hire them early on, okay? But just make sure that with all of you guys, whenever you're hiring anybody, you want to give them the tools and everything they can, that they need to be good at. All right, have it documented on how to do something. Okay, so for instance, when you're doing something yourself, videotape you doing it. So if you're doing something on the internet, you can use something like I use ScreenFlow. They got like Screencast, which is free. They got Camtasia, which is kind of like ScreenFlow. Just kind of record yourself, okay? If you're talking with a seller, record yourself, all right? Because what you want to do is you want to be able to pass on these training videos to someone else, okay? And not that you can't train them one-on-one as well, but if you document this training, when someone leaves or you need to fire them and rehire someone else, you'll have these training manuals and you have this system in your business that you can just bring someone in. Okay, that's the reason why McDonald's is so successful, is that they can literally bring anyone without any, knowledge of a high school diploma or whatever, and they can bring them into a system, and it's still going to generate and make money, right? And that's what you want. All right, so that's the thing I would ask you: do you feel competent enough, or not enough, to really bring someone in? If you feel that you are in a position that you can hire someone to do some tasks that just take too much of your time and you're ready to train them and you really feel that they will really be a asset to your business, which they will, then even though you haven't done a few deals, you can hire someone. I hired someone early on because for me, I was working a job and I was working so many hours with overtime. I didn't have the time to get someone for me to be able to like take breaks off of work and like answer calls, and I was having leads come in, and that was like to a point where I was like losing deals because I was doing my marketing, but I couldn't get to the phone. And so I hired somebody early on, and I wasn't really even that efficient in training them, but they at least knew how to like screen the calls and get the information to me. I could figure out which ones were good leads and which ones were bad. All right. Okay, so how often do you send the same direct mail campaign? So we send the same campaign. We rotate. Every week I'm sending out campaigns. So they're going to get touched once a month. Typically, I would say we mail to them about 3 times. All right, and then we have it where if we don't hear from them, well, no, I take that back. We do more than that. It's probably about 4 to 5 times where we'll continue mailing to that list. Of course, we'll update the list for people that if they say that this house is sold already, we'll delete them. The ones that we actually do pick up, we delete those off the list, but we continue to mail them to them. And we just have a rotation of different lists because we mail every single week on a Monday to keep the calls coming in. Okay? All right. So I have my calls going to voicemail as well. I have everything into FreedomSoft. So like my lead manager just messaged me, as you can see here. We have calls that come in every single day. There's really not any days that we don't have calls come in. We have everything going to voicemail as well. And I just have my lead manager, really extensively follow up. She'll call throughout the whole day until we get them on the phone. She'll call every single day. But it's always good if you can get a live call, of course. But yeah, we have them going to the voicemail and they listen to a message. And even when they hang up, we still call them back. We call all hang-ups back, regardless if they leave a voicemail. Because some people, you're going to deal with some homeowners that are older, and they just don't like the answering machine stuff at all. Okay, so whatever is more feasible for you. If you can afford to do live calls and take the calls yourself, do that. or if not, voicemail is good. All right. Good question. So, are you still using bandit signs to market for sellers? No. Um, right now in our market, especially like in Tampa, it is a very competitive market, and a lot of uh, a lot of people are using bandit signs in my market. Okay, so for our business, we don't do a lot of bandit signs at all. We used to do them for buyers. We don't even do them for buyers anymore. So it depends on what market you're in. Our market of Tampa is extremely competitive, and there's really a bandit sign on every single corner, 2 to 3 of them. And so I don't even waste my time putting them out. We do a lot of cold calling and direct mail. And that's really our two biggest lead sources to get deals. However, it's not to say it doesn't work. All right, because I know people that are still catching a lot of deals off bandit signs. We had one of our guys that came to our mastermind in Miami in March, and he had made about $70,000 the month previously before our mastermind, and all his deals came with bandit signs. He's in Houston. Houston is a big city, but it's also competitive too. All right, but he stayed very consistent with it. So if you're gonna do it big, right? So put out 50 to 100 every single week. Make sure you're consistent with it. It can definitely work for you. I would tell you to make sure that you have a unique message. Okay, so have something beyond "we buy houses for cash" because everybody and their mama has those signs. Put something different. All right, I just saw somebody on the other social media. It's a guy that I know too, but somebody took a picture of his sign and they put it up. His name is spelled D''VEL, or maybe it's not an E, maybe it's D''VL, and he put that on his bandit signs. So it says "Devil buys houses." It was pretty funny. I first saw it, but it's something different. All right, so maybe you want to brand yourself. You know, um, Nina buys houses or something like that. Okay, but just think outside the box. That's why this thing is all about marketing. It's all about doing something that's different and not necessarily what everyone else is doing. Okay. Um. Yep. So Tilo, I'm really trying to switch over because Tilo is so much better. They are extremely strict, but I'm really looking to switch over to Tilo. I have microbuilt. They do check your place. They do make sure that you have a file cabinet where you can lock things up. What else did they check? What else did they check? I'm trying to remember. File cabinet, paper shredder. No, it wasn't the phone. And this is like office space, make sure you have some type of office space or whatever. But that's what they wanted to know is make sure you had a paper shredder to shred information because the information is so good, as well as um, having a file cabinet so you can lock files up. And say, for instance, if you were to print some of the things out from their server. So yes, they do come by your place to check everything out. Of course, it's easier if you have an office, but I got passed with them checking my home office, and I have micro built. Okay, so what do you mean find good investors? Do you mean like investors like buyers? What exactly do you mean? Mass text messaging to sellers. We haven't really done too many mass texts, to be honest with you. I know Call Fire is something that I've seen a lot of people have used in the past. We actually can text through here, so we don't really do any like mass texts per se, but all of our phone numbers are in here. We have like I think 4 or 5 different phone numbers. We're able to go into here and text people, and so that's what we do a lot of times. When we like, for instance, sellers call us, and we automatically send an auto text message to them saying that hey, we're in a meeting. Blase, could they give us a good time? We'll be able to reach them, and what's the property address? All right, and then we've had times where we've been able to text some of those people. I've had whole conversations on text with people through the system, so that's what we use. But they call fire as one of them. And you can do a mass blast. All right, so I'm in Atlanta, and it seems that the market is saturated with other wholesalers. Should I focus on virtual wholesaling in other markets? So here's the thing. Most of the time, a lot of people say that, and I mean, yes, even my market of Tampa is probably just as much saturated, if not more. All right, because it's the guru city, as what people say. Um, but the thing about it is that yes, you could go into a smaller market, someone like a Midwest area, and you're going to have way less competition, or you could go to like a very southern area like Alabama, and it's going to be less competition, but the price points are going to be lower. All right, you're going to have to ask some people on the ground, and you can do it. I wouldn't tell you you shouldn't do it. I like going to a lot of smaller markets and really, getting the really good return on my money going to those markets because of the low marketing cost and less competition. But I wouldn't be afraid of competition. I like when it's competitive. Okay, I like when there's a lot of people in the market because that just lets me know when I get something that's going to be that easy to sell. I want you to also think about what are those people doing and what could you do different. So for instance, in my market in Tampa, it is very saturated. Everybody's mailing to everybody. Okay, so everybody's getting 15, 20 postcards from all different type of wholesalers. So what I said, what can I do differently? Well, one thing we've done is we switched up our messaging. We've been able to look at some of the same letters and postcards that most people send, which are very, very basic, and we send out a different messaging into it. We actually put it personable. All right, very personable in our marketing. I explain some things that I've gone through in the business as a landlord and things like that. And it all depends on what niche we're mailing to. Secondly, we cold call. Okay, we do a lot of cold calling. Every single day we're blasting out cold calling. Okay, most people, they don't even know how to get phone numbers. All right, so that already, we're running circles around our competition just because of that. Another thing, okay, think about, all right, most people might have the probates. What if you go direct to the source and go talk to probate attorneys? Okay, build a relationship with someone at the courthouse. Okay, build a relationship with someone that are getting the files of the tax defaults. Maybe they can give them to you a lot quicker. Okay, look at the resources of the different people that you can build relationships with, and they can actually start to help you out. I've had realtors that I've had relationships with that have sent me deals before they list them. Okay, before they get hit the market and everybody else knows about them, they send them to me first. All right, so just think outside the box of what you can do, and how you can be a benefit to someone. Okay, so for instance, like a probate attorney. All right, so I'll give you an example. A probate attorney, you might be wondering, all right, so what can I do to go to them? How do I approach them? How can I present myself to a probate attorney? You can explain to them, hey, listen, my name is Chris Bruce. I'm a real estate investor in the market. We're buying a lot of properties. We're looking to really step it up this year and buy a lot of properties. We really like to buy properties from people that unfortunately inherit a property. All right. So now, what I would like to do is extend my service to you to make you, look better and help you with your business. Maybe have this as added service because I know that you're a top attorney. I know you're getting a lot of files that's coming across your desk of probates. Maybe what you can do is that to help your clients out, of course, you're going through the probate process and helping them figure things out, but wouldn't it be nice if you can also have that extra feature of saying, hey, look, I got an investor I'm working with personally. He'll actually buy your house cash. So as soon as we move this out of probate, he'll liquidate your property and get cash for it. All right. Now, that's going to make that attorney look better because now not only is it's a full service, he's got different people he can go to. All right. It's just like, when you go to a car service, a mechanic or whatever, or whoever, and they tell you, oh, we got our man's here that does tires, that can get you some new tires here, or we got, this guy up the street that can tint your windows. We got the relationship that you created, and they look better because now they can refer their customers, their clients to other people, and that's how you work. Because you can't necessarily give that attorney, like some money on the side or whatever. You can't. That's just illegal. All right. But you let them know that you can help them provide a service to their clients, okay, as an added additional bonus for them, of them just sending the lead and letting them know, letting you know of someone that is in the market to sell, that's going through the probate process. So that's what you can do. Some different things you can do to really outbeat your competition that are doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. All right. Excuse me. Buyers. Okay, so yes, finding buyers. There's a lot of different things. You can go out, going to any auctions. So that's a very, very great way to find. Okay, sorry, I just got a message. Okay, so that's a very, very good way to find buyers. All right, is going to auctions. Okay. Secondly, you can, of course, put out signs, put out banner signs. Those work really good. All right. Third, calling those signs. Calling the signs of people that have properties out is a very good way as well too. Okay. Calling for rent signs. These are landlords. That's another way to find investors and just happen to have a conversation with them. Anybody, hey, see, it looks like you're buying properties. Are you in the market to buy anymore? Okay. Another strategy would actually be if you see any rehabs or renovations going on in your area, reach out to them. All right. See, the contractors, talk with them, find out who's the actual owner of the property, and have them put you in contact with the owner. Excuse me. That's a rehabber. All right. So there's all different type of ways. Of course, going to REIAs, sometimes buyers will show up to those meetings as well. You can partner up not partner up, but you can meet and connect with them. But those are some different ways that you can go out and find different investors and buyers. Of course, you can always put Craigslist ads up and stuff like that. That works too. Okay. But when you get a deal on the contract, how do you market to get a buyer? It really comes down to you just either put out banner signs, putting up Craigslist ads, contacting other wholesalers, just all of the different things that I just told you. All right, reaching out to people that are going to auctions, they have cash, that are buying at auctions. Those are very good, people that you can reach out to buy. They're going to want to buy your deals. Yep. Kevin says, I love the cold calling. Yeah, cold calling is best. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's good mailing, and you get people that are slight interested or are very interested, whatever, that will call you back from your marketing. But cold calling, you just get right on the phone and find it out. Straight yes, no, if they're in the market, if they're not, whatever. And then if they are, continue to get their information, and you can get straight to it. All right, so I love it. I love it. Okay. All right, this is your first webinar call? All right, perfect. Well, welcome on. This is being your first call. We did record this. Okay, so if you came in late or whatever, don't worry. It's been recorded. Okay, so you'll be able to go back and watch it in the back office. Oh, good question. So why would a buyer purchase a fire damaged property? Well, two things. It depends on, of course, how bad the damage is. Number one, if it's not that damaged, right? So maybe part of the house burnt down, the back part, something that could definitely be fixed. Okay. The reason why they would love to buy it is because there's something that they could get probably for a discounted price, right? Because you can't sell a fire damaged property for retail. So the homeowner, the seller, is not going to want, top dollar, obviously, because they know they're not going to be able to get it. Or if it's just makes more sense to just knock it down and build a whole new house on it and make a lot more money doing that. And it's really just worth the land value. That's why. Okay. So just remember, guys, you're not looking for the best top-notch properties. Okay. The ones that are more beat up or old, need repairs, those are the houses that you really want as a wholesaler, because you have a much more negotiating bargain that you can do with a homeowner. Okay, so don't go looking at the pretty houses. Yes, some people talk about wholesaling pretty houses, but those are going to be the ones that you're going to end up fighting with trying to get their property. It's a lot easier to negotiate a deal and for a lower price when the property needs work, especially if it needs a lot of work. Okay, especially if it needs a lot of work. Those are the houses that you really want to go after. Okay. All right. When you cold call, how do you get the numbers? If there's some software I can use, I can load up my list and get the numbers. Yes. So there's TLO that you can use. Again, there's MicroBuilt. Those are all paid services on a monthly basis where there is a really strenuous approval process, meaning that they actually have to come to your home. They're going to want to see, that you have certain things like the cabinet that or a desk or whatever that has a key to it that can be locked up. They want to make sure you have a paper shredder, things like that. But they are the best in the industry. You have what's another one? You have Accurate. They're very good, but they're very expensive. You also have findaseller.com. I'm not sure how expensive they are. I know people have used them. There's another one. I've been trying to find it that I heard that you can use to get numbers. I want to say, hold on, let me see if I can find it. I don't know the name of it. And I think it's called Info USA, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's Info USA. So Info USA is another one that you can use. And what you can do is you can actually upload your list, and what they'll do is they'll append your list and locate phone numbers for them. It's pretty cheap too, so you can use them. Info USA. Just do a Google search and you'll be able to find it. All right. So with MicroBuilt, you can't do the whole list. That's why I like TLO better. TLO, you can upload the whole list at one time. With this Info USA, you can upload the list at the whole time as well too. Upload in a bulk, and then they'll go out and spit out the phone numbers for you, and then you can call them. Okay. So for some of you that you're like, all right, I just don't really have the money to keep continuing doing direct mail, use Info USA, or findseller.com or whatever. If you can invest in a TLO system or a MicroBuilt, and then cold call, I guarantee you'll get a deal faster. And then that way, now you have the money that you can start putting into marketing, outsourcing and hiring, different people for your business, and then you'll be better off that way. Okay, so definitely cold calling. You got to be consistent with it. You got to call every single day, but it does work. All right, and it will get you a deal a lot faster. All right. So guys, we're towards the end now. I do want to say I appreciate all of you being on here. Again, some of you guys that might have checked in a little bit later. So we caught the end tail of this coaching call. We do these once a month. I'm looking to actually start doing this bi-weekly. If you guys feel that this is of value, I really want to start doing this on a more consistent basis so that way I can keep you guys accountable. I got a few different programs I'm going to be rolling out soon as well. So since you guys are already in here, you'll be a part of those programs already when we get to launching this to a bi-weekly thing, okay? So I appreciate you being on here. You guys have a great night. Have a great week. And remember, if you have any questions at all, make sure you come into this Facebook group and reach out to me, and I'll help you out. All right? Have a great night, and I will talk to you soon.